You have to find which one's the best one for Cranky.
In 2006, Dana Gobbo was just a regular college student at Rutgers University. To the public eye, Dana was lively, sociable, and excited to be a part of a new atmosphere.
She was really excited to get to Rutgers. She's wanted to get accepted there for the whole senior year of high school.
My first semester was really fun, and then I got diagnosed.
At the age of 18 years old, Dana was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease.
Hodgkin's disease is a kind of cancer that comes from the blood cells.
Dr. John Glod is a part of the Cancer Institute of New Jersey. The Cancer Institute is one out of 40 nationally recognized institutes and the only one in New Jersey.
The cancerous cells tend to accumulate in the lymph glands or the lymph nodes. So you can get swollen glands under your neck or under your armpit if you have an infection. The Hodgkin's disease cancer will accumulate often in these lymph nodes. So usually when people realize there's something wrong when they have Hodgkin's disease, a common thing that they might notice is that they have a big lymph node, a big lump on their neck, a swollen gland. Do you have a fever, and does it persist for longer than a normal cold or something? And does it make you sweat at night?
Dana was admitted to the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital and the Cancer Institute of New Jersey in December 2006.
I was devastated. She was young and beautiful, and you think cancer, it's very scary. And you think that you think bad things when you think cancer.
For a while, I didn't believe them. I was like, are you sure those are my scans? And I just didn't think that it was true.
What we did was we talked to doctors about it, and we learned about it, and we started, you get in a groove of what you have to do.
Normally with your kids, if they need money, you give them money. If they get in a jam, you help them out. This is something we can't fix. We just got to hand them over to the doctor. That's it, and just do what he says.
Have to do what they tell you to do. Be brave and know that it's going to be okay. Because if you don't think it's going to be okay, it's not. And a lot of it's in your head. You have to be positive. Because there's days when you don't feel good, but you have to still do things. You can't just lay around.
Everybody kind of pitched in, or we had no other thought but to get Dana well, and Dana was going to get well.
It was decided that Dana would undergo chemotherapy to help fight her cancer.
They're of chemotherapy alone, which are medicines that you will take, the person with Hodgkin's disease can take in the IV or by mouth, or a combination of both. Sometimes treatment for Hodgkin's disease also includes radiation therapy, which is kind of the shooting of a beam of radiation at spots where the cancer exists, and usually that's in the neck and the chest.
She had 3 days of chemo in the hospital, and then Monday morning she was a little sick, but she could go to school. She would rest a lot, maybe go to school for a little while, go to class and come home.
The chemo sessions didn't get the best of her, though. She was able to attend school while still going through chemo because of the Disability Act.
Balancing school and treatment, it was rough, but I needed to do it because I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to leave my friends. I just made all great friends, and I was with them for a whole semester, and then I didn't want to leave.
She did a lot of stuff online, which helped. We put her on a Disability Act through Rutgers, which all her professors of the classes she took knew about her condition, and were sort of working with her on. She couldn't stay in class, she could leave. They would email by online with each other, and it worked out well.
When she woke up out of her first surgery to have her ports put in, first words out of her mouth were, "Dad, you got to call the dean and tell them I have to postpone this class." So she never stopped living. And it was a long, long, long road. But through the whole thing, she maintained her studies, she maintained her positive attitude.
After going through chemo and being cancer-free for a few months, the cancer came back, worse than ever. The doctor had to resort to a new technology called stem cell transplant.
Your stem cells are harvested from your blood, and then you get chemotherapy and you get your stem cells back. The reason to do that is because one of the places that chemotherapy can cause toxicity or cause side effects is in the bone marrow. And that kind of makes sense because the cancer cells come from bone marrow cells. They come from white blood cells in the case of Hodgkin's disease. So their cell types are similar. So you'd expect them to be damaged, the normal cells to be damaged as well. If you give a stem cell transplant to someone with Hodgkin's, you take their stem cells out. So the stem cells that are not in their body anymore are not exposed to the chemotherapy. And in that way, you may be able to give more chemotherapy than normal because those stem cells that are out of their body are not being impacted by the chemo. And then they get their stem cells back.
The stem cell transplant was pretty intense. It was like I had to sit there for 3 days, for 8 hours a day. They put a giant catheter in my neck to like collect the stem cells, and then they froze them. And then I did chemo, and then they waited till my counts came back up, and then once they did, that's when I did the transplant.
All the time. Okay.
I don't even know
What
how.
is it? Courageous.
Now at the age of 21, Dana is in remission and has been cancer-free for a year and 3 months.
I think that if it wasn't for my family and friends being so supportive of me, that I wouldn't have been so okay with the situation.
She's just an amazing girl, you know. She just goes on and without a care in the world. Everyone around her is just, you know, captured by her. She's something special.
She's a fighter. She's really strong. She's always been the strongest one out of all of our friends. She's always like led us through everything. She's always been like the one to like get us out and to do stuff, and I knew that she would always pull through.
Dana's fearless would be the only word I could think of.
She's so strong and brave and beautiful. I mean, I can't even believe I had a daughter like that.
Even through their struggles, you can see that they fought hard and continue to stay strong because they know that there's still a long road ahead for them. To learn more information on Hodgkin's disease, you can visit www.hodgkinshistory.com, or you can check out the National Cancer Institute's website at www.cancer.gov.